Hey Internet, I'm Chaz.
And I'm Dan. Welcome to Wine is Serious Business, episode 356. We're here today following up on an episode that's been over a year in the making with our friend Joel Strimling, as most of our interviews at this point are seriously overdue. He's been pitching this idea for quite a while to us, and we're finally here to make it happen. What are we drinking today, Joel?
Aged rosé.
And why would a person do a thing like that?
Well, partially, sometimes unintentionally, but most of these wines were definitely aged intentionally, maybe a little longer than I'd hoped. But the goal is always, I think, with wine is that people take it home and they drink it. And even with rosé, and then I hear, oh, I'm not big into rosés, they're clunky or they're sharp or they're thin. And I think like any wine, if you sit on it long enough, a lot of them will turn around and really surprise you.
Okay. And I'd say that this is in line with Joel's personality and tastes as well, where you're kind of known for aging a wide range of styles.
Yeah, and sometimes obviously it'll come back and bite you in the butt, and we'll see if that happens today. But
we'll learn something.
It's we'll learn something, and I think it's worth a shot. And I've certainly heard that the three wines that are not in bag are ageable. So this is obviously Jim Prosser or J.K. Carriere's Glass, which I've liked for a long time, and.
You've talked about this wine multiple times as being an ageable rosé.
Well, that's what I've always heard. I've talked to a number of the people who've worked up there, and they've told me they can age 10, 12 years. And I've always been a little gun-shy. Typically, I'll only age them about 5 to 7.
Okay.
And they'll work really well at that. So this obviously is going well beyond that. And as far as I know, back then and still now, possibly, we'd have to check with Jim, done in a Champenoise style, so aged on Chardonnay lees.
Interesting.
So it's Pinot Noir rosé, but done on Chardonnay lees, to give it a kind of a...
Interesting.
Yeah, so
Right.
I mean, I think that also adds to the intrigue and interest of it, so... Yeah,
Well, let's try it out.
Just a little bit of turning orange, but the color's still pretty well intact here. It smells all right.
Smells good.
Yeah. Age shows a little bit,
It
but
definitely shows a little bit to
Yeah.
me. I mean, it's a little... And of course, I've had this wine through many different stages, so it's not as fruity as maybe I normally would
a
say.
little bit of leather, but a little bit of raspberry too. Like there's still some red fruit there, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't mind the nose. Like definitely,
No.
it definitely smells of an aged wine, but it's got some fruitiness still left, and it smells somewhat delicious. I don't know.
Yeah, I think it smells
kinda
good.
nice.
But
Maybe a
definitely-
little alcohol in the nose there too.
Yeah.
A little bit of,
And like you said, a little leathery or a little worn. I'm not sure I get... What would you say, raspberry? I was thinking almost more a little like underripe melony kind of flavor.
I could see some melon there. Yeah.
It reminds me of like some like sparkling wines I've had in the past, old sparkling wines
Yeah,
I've had
well.
in the past.
And maybe that's the
Some of the
Champenoise
aromas,
style again, or
some
maybe
sort
I
of, like,
influenced you. But
Some sort of like toastiness or something coming out of it. I don't know.
Or maybe that's the lees too. That's where maybe some of that comes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway.
Yeah, a little bit of that melon comes through.
Yeah.
I'm getting, boy, what is it? Even a little towards like pumpkin or something like that,
Oh,
like a little
yeah.
bit of herbal, vegetable kind of thing, but not like the vegetable where it's like super green and viney, but just more like autumn flavored.
It's definitely got a lot less fruit than probably the last time I had it, but I still kind of like it. I think if you didn't know what this was and your eyes were closed, you might guess it as some sort of really funky white wine or something like that.
A weird Chardonnay.
Yeah, something that
see
you were kind of like, hey, this is kind of interesting. I could, like, all right, let's have this with some sturgeon or something. And
Yeah. It's got absolutely ripping acid still, which is kind of crazy, right? Like the flavors are a little clunky and disjointed in the mid palate, but the acid is just a wallop of it.
you
Wall
still
of
feel
in
it on the
finish,
front.
Yeah.
You still feel it on the front, but
Yeah, integrated, right? The texture's still intact. That's enjoyable there. Yeah, the flavors are a little aged, right? So kind of missed the boat here, but not terribly,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Definitely drink them up.
yeah, I would again. I mean, I think if you'd had this 2, 3, even 4 years ago, you'd probably be surprised and just be thinking, "This is awesome."
I don't think a lot of people would think that would be drinkable, right? Like a lot of people would be like,
Right,
"Oh,
and-
no,
and-
yeah, this is totally drinkable."
Yep.
Yeah, I better.
Yeah. I'm on to wine number 2.
I think this is the next one is the J.K. Carriere Glass 2010.
Yeah.
So do a little rinse. I guess we don't have to, right? I don't know.
Yeah.
We'll do a little rinse. Yeah, might
First
as well.
back, right?
Yep.
Why not, right? Yeah.
And with that 9 being so acidic, it might also be that when it was young, right, that had the fruit to stand up to all that. And,
Probably.
Yeah, I mean-
now it's
Well, we all know 9 was like,
No shortage
pretty,
of fruit.
Yeah, pretty graciously hot year. So I mean,
Yeah.
you're looking at a most of those wines, no one would 8 and 9s in general. They just say, oh, drink them because
Right.
they start to fall apart. So
10 was slow and low. Yeah.
Well, I mean, I think the color on this is already different.
Is that corked?
Maybe. We'll see. Right.
Yeah.
It's a rosé, and the cork has actually turned pink.
Yeah. Yeah.
Corked.
Yeah, it's
Tragic.
unfortunate.
Yeah.
That's unfortunate.
That also
Son of a
happens
bitch.
sometimes.
That
Man.
does happen.
Yeah,
That's
although
too bad.
I like the feel on this one already infinitely better. But yeah,
The acidity is much more elegant.
Yeah.
I can give it that.
everything's more elegant on the texture, but unfortunately, it's just corked. Otherwise, I can't do
so-
anything about that. But
Who knows what it tastes like?
yeah.
Yeah, you can actually say this is kind of delicious despite the cork.
That's what I was thinking. I was like, I actually
Yeah.
would. I think that if you had a 2010 of these,
Yeah.
that you would probably really enjoy it and be. And honestly,
man.
if you had 11 or 12,
Right, that's still delicious. Even being lightly
That's
corked is pretty
really
good.
impressive. The fruit flavor,
Yeah.
of course, is gone and destroyed. The texture is
it's
great.
amazing. Isn't that amazing? I think if you had an 11 or 12 or even a 13 a glass right now, I'd tell you that you're in a really happy spot and drink that.
So on to the third wine. This is the Cameron Ramato, right?
Yeah. So
2011.
actually Pinot Gris. But
Yeah. So this one, the color is definitely apparent that it's aged.
Yeah, but this was made more as an orange wine too, right?
Yes.
Like when they,
Oh, it's orange now.
Yeah, well,
gold.
I think it's
Yeah.
always been orange, and yeah, I don't know if he designed these to go this long, but
We're gonna find out.
Probably holds. I mean, skin contact's probably good for it in that.
you would think so, right? I mean,
Doesn't smell. Doesn't smell bad.
Pinot Gris, on the other hand, who knows? Not a lot going on in the nose, though. Pretty
No, but-
simple there, right? Yeah.
the palate's got a bewildering lot going on
All right. Well.
to me.
Yeah. Yeah. The nose is really not saying
It's
much.
muted. It's
It's really
really muted, which is either temperature or
Oh,
something. But
again, very enjoyable texture though.
yeah,
Wow, and then some cool like peachy flavors, really late.
mm-hmm.
This is pretty nice.
Yeah. This is actually kind of delicious.
I was gonna say I kind of love this, but it sort of
Yeah.
reminds me of and not trying to sound in a bad way, like some sort of weird kids fruit juice cocktail that's gone fermented in the sun and suddenly becomes like this
Sure.
great thing that you all want to drink.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I actually love that. I have another bottle. I'm glad.
Yeah.
It's peachy. It's cantaloupe, and it's got a little bit of like the straight up like fruit medley. Thing
Yeah,
going on.
that's kind of what
Sort
I was. That's why I
juice,
said
yeah.
I was sort of bewildered by all
Yeah.
this.
Yeah, it's all there, and then it's pretty like the flavors are all pretty compact and kind of go away pretty quickly. The finish is like
Yeah.
got nice acidity, but everything kind of rounds out and cleanly finishes. It's pretty nice.
Just nice touch.
I'm
of texture
surprising.
on there.
I'm super surprised. So,
So,
yeah.
7-year-old Ramato Rosé.
Really pleasant drinking. Yeah. That's good. Thanks for picking this
Yeah.
out too. That's a
Yeah, all these were in my cellar. Like I said, I mean, when I bought that wine, I bought a few of them because when I first had it, I thought, I really like this, and I think it has the structure.
Was it pretty tough on release? Was it? Was the structure? a little
there was just
fuller,
more
or-
acidity. You
Okay.
could definitely feel the texture more.
Sure.
So that's what gave me the inkling, like, I'm gonna sit on this.
That's good. What's the best place to kayak in Oregon?
It depends on what kind of kayak you want to do.
You have to tell the story. I don't even know what types of kayaking there are.
To a
if you're
beginner.
coming here
Just
to
say to a beginner.
Yeah, there we go.
Well, see, to a beginner, you're probably just looking to go for a tour, right? So then I would say down near where the Columbia and the Willamette converge, there's a lot of little backwater trails with a lot of wildlife.
Okay.
There's even some, if you go up towards Frenchman's Bar over in Washington,
All right.
across the Columbia, over there's sandhill cranes, things like that. So you can get a real interesting view. If you're like me and you want to surf and compete, come summertime, you're always going up in the gorge.
All right, so we got a paper bag here.
Yeah, I
What's
picked this
in
up.
the bag?
Well, I'm not telling you what's in the bag.
All right.
You should do a rinse.
Yeah.
So my point, well, the color's not what I expected at all. So I picked this up because you guys always buy wines on your way home on the show. Like, I picked this up on the way home, and I'm super
Sure.
excited. I picked this up today,
All right.
and I kind of told him already. I did it to show that if you search and if you wheel and deal a little bit, you can find some interesting things just at your local wine shop.
Yeah.
That's actually, I think that's about what I expected out of that.
Okay.
So again, it's 2013. He was
Okay.
Chaz was all, no, don't tell me the date. I'm
Yeah, I
like,
don't
yeah,
know the
but
vintage, right?
but my point was, is we went 9, 10, 11. Unfortunately, I didn't have a 12. It is a rosé, obviously,
Yeah.
but so
Again, pretty gold, but this is like the more salmon
yeah.
peach.
Definitely
summer
more.
peach. Yeah.
And I like that copper salmon color. Look, it's like anything. When you start to get a passion for something, hopefully you explore it more. But don't be afraid to do things that are outliers. Just because someone tells you something doesn't mean that's the way it is. If someone says they like old wines, it doesn't mean you have to like them. But if someone says they suck old, then they don't have to suck.
Yeah.
So, you know, the nose on this actually is pretty good to me.
No, it smells great.
It's kind of this cotton candy strawberry jam meets something else in there. I can't quite pick
A little
it
bit
up.
of sage, I think.
Is
like,
that what
like
it
when
is?
you're out in the desert, right? When you're digging like little sage.
Yeah, but I definitely still get some of that cotton candy and strawberry in there too.
Yeah, strawberries are definitely apparent. There's a little acidity coming out of here, like lends like a fresher note to the nose. It's really quite nice.
So again, for 13, I mean, it's 5 years old, so a lot of people wouldn't drink a 5-year-old rosé.
No.
I'll give the caveat. I'll even give you this one. I have never had a wine from this producer before.
Well, now I'm totally.
Yeah, I know. That's what I thought I'd throw it.
Pretty mild flavor on the palate. Not a lot going on here.
Nah.
Little bit of skin character. A little bit of, I think maybe a little bit of lees or something like that. And some acidity comes in late. Little disjointed too. I think.
Yeah, this one's similar to the 2009 class, where it's like the acidity kind of comes in as a big wallop in the finish, and the initial attack is a little, like I said, it's
But I do get like there's a nice. This will sound funny because again, I think it's probably not what necessarily some of these other wines have. There's a nice kind of thirst quenching kind of capacity to this. Like it's got an easy kind of melony thing to me, along with the strawberry. But yeah, obviously it doesn't have the acidity attack at the finish either. At least in my opinion, as to the 9.
Oh, it doesn't?
I don't think it's that.
It's
bad.
there, but it's.
I don't think it's that to that potent. Although it could be that now that we've gone through.
You're right. It's not the weakest of the 4 either. Like there's more. Probably number 2 out of it.
Yeah.
Okay.
But I mean, I still find it really interesting, and honestly, I would drink this. Would I run out and try and find it again? Oh, probably not. But if I was like,
no, this is drinkable. It's fine.
As a hey, cool, look what I found. I want to try it and maybe serve it with something. I don't know. You guys choose a dish this time. Then yeah, I'm eager on this. Like, have some friends over and drink this. And I think once you finally open the bag, you might be interested to see who it is.
And I'd say that's more what I expect kind of across the board with this age.
Yeah.
So
again, 13. So that's actually the youngest by
an
far.
expensive bottle too, right? It's got that.
Right.
Thick lip.
So you got the thick lip there. That kind of is a little bit of a giveaway, and obviously New World because of that.
It's like Antigua Terra or something.
You're just gonna have to disrobe it to find
go
out.
for it, Chaz.
Do it. All right.
It's up to you. You have no guesses?
I said Antigua Terra.
Okay, you said Antigua Terra. All right, pull it.
Yeah.
Pull it.
I don't even know this producer.
Oh, Cayuse.
This is Cayuse.
It's Cayuse. I've never had a Cayuse before.
Huh.
So 13
Grenache
Grenache Rosé from Walla Walla.
Huh.
And again, it was walking into a wine store and even saying to them, "Hey, I've got a weird event coming up. I need an aged rosé."
And they were like, "We got
And
it."
they said, "Oh, we got these 15s and 16s." And I said, "Yeah, that's okay."
About a little old.
I said, "Do you have anything else lying around?" And he said, "Well, I got this." And I said, "Well, great." And I said, "But it's one bottle that's been sitting around."
And that's exactly what I
And
want.
suddenly,
Yeah.
ting,
Yeah, perfect.
suddenly becomes more affordable. And again,
I'm really glad you had this in a bag.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
wouldn't that have
Yeah,
biased
absolutely.
you? I mean, I hate to say it, but
It absolutely does, right?
Yeah.
It throws something in there that you're
but I kept it Northwest, not
when
Oregon.
You know, when you know like of a producer's pedigree, right? But
And that stuff is definitely made to drink immediately on release while you let their other stuff sit around for a while, right? So,
sure, yeah.
And
Well,
that's
this tastes like on release.
12.2 alcohol, so low alcohol.
And I'll also say this is something I've come to admit about rosés, and how I like drinking them young is that there's still often some CO2 in the bottle right after bottling,
Right.
and that gives it that little bit of lift and lively. And I don't even mean as perceptible bubbles. It's just kind of this lively feeling of freshly bottled stuff that is pretty enjoyable and complements rosé very well. And as that fades, that's also a bit of a transition that you know.
Yeah. I mean, and I agree with you again. I mean, there's plenty of rosés that I buy and I drink. I just am like, oh my god, this is so good. I'm just gonna give me a straw, you know.
Yeah.
But again, with these three over here, those are all wines definitely I intended to age. It's unfortunate the 10 was corked because I do think the texture on it was
I know.
by far the most interesting
Yeah,
and intriguing.
yeah.
And if anyone out there has any 10s and doesn't want them, I think the three of us would be happy to perhaps take that off your hands at a discounted price.
I don't think it'd be discounted anymore.
Well, it's old. It's no good. I mean, we prove it, right? It's just terrible. Yeah, I guess my point, same point. Just don't be afraid. If you want to stick a bottle aside, drink the rest of them now, and stick a bottle aside to see what it does.
I'm definitely after this and after all of the talk that you've had about aging rosé, I'm definitely more interested now.
Good stuff. Thanks for putting the show together.
Absolutely.
This is a good
Thanks.
time.
Thanks for
thank you
fighting us
coming
over.
I
Yeah,
appreciate it. I really
Yeah.
do. And hopefully it'll encourage people to experiment a little more.